In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this super cute bunny applique, which can be used for bunting or just used on its own to put onto another project, or you could even use them to put into a gift with a Easter egg for Easter. You will need your selected yarn. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK. You want to take your selected colours, and you will also need a cream or a white. You will need a crochet hook. I'm choosing to use a 4mm for this particular yarn, but make sure that you look at the yarn label to see which size you should be using. You will need a pair of scissors and a darning needle to do some sewing in at the end. So I've traced this pattern to what I believe is its original source. So I shall leave a link in the description box below to the original written pattern. Now that pattern is written in US terms. I'm going to be working in UK terms, but I will leave the US terms just here at the bottom of the screen as we work through. So this pattern actually calls for a magic circle to begin with. If you are unfamiliar with how to do the magic circle, I again shall leave a link in the description box below of a step-by-step tutorial of how you can do that. But you want to start off with a magic circle, and what we are going to do is do 6 double crochets into this very centre of this magic circle. So that's insert the hook, grab the yarn and pull it through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, insert, grab the yarn, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then from this point you want to hold on to your stitches and pull this nice and tight. It pulls those stitches together, and then you're going to slip stitch into that very first stitch just here. So you want to insert your hook so it hooks onto both loops just here. Grab the yarn and pull through all the loops that are on the hook. From here what you want to do is chain 1, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into each of these stitches. So starting with this very first one just here, you want to insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn, pull it through. So 1, 2, we're going to end up with 12 stitches in total. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Now it's important that you do count, because when you've done your 12 stitches you may be tempted to actually do another 2 stitches in this very last one here, when essentially that is actually where the chain 1 is. So what you want to do now is slip stitch into that chain 1, which is just here. You want to grab the yarn and pull through both loops on the hook, and you can see as it pulls together you aren't left with a gap, so please don't be tempted to add more stitches. So what we're going to do now is increase the next round to 18 stitches. So we're going to chain 1, and what we're going to do is start off with 1 double crochet into that very first stitch, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So that's 1, and then we do 1 and 2 into there. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then you go 4, 5, 6. So those 2 into the same stitch. So you're going to repeat that all the way round. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. Pause the video, make sure you're counting, because once you get to 18 you're going to play the video again and I'll show you how to connect and what to do for the next round. So now you've worked your way round and counted 18 stitches, we are going to slip stitch into this very first stitch just here, and that completes that round. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to increase this next round from 18 to 24. So we're going to do 1, double crochet into this first stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 2 into the next stitch. So 1 and 2. And you're going to repeat that all the way round. So this would be the 5th stitch, 5, 6, 2 into the same space, 7 and 8. So pause the video, continue that, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Make sure that you're counting all the way up to 24, and I'll meet you back in just a moment. So now that you've done your 24 stitches, you are, again, like the last rounds, going to slip stitch into that very first stitch. And that is the end of the bunny body. So now we're actually going to work on the head section just here. So you're going to chain 1, and then in this first stitch you're going to do a half treble crochet, which is known as a half double crochet in the US. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that space, grab the yarn and pull it through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, and then grab the yarn and pull through all 3 loops on that hook. We're then going to move over to the next space, and then we're going to move on to the next stitch, and we're going to do a treble crochet, which is known as a double crochet in the US. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, grab the yarn, pull it through. We'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And then we're going to get even bigger, so we're going to do a double treble into the next space, and in the US this is known as a treble crochet. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through. This time you'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. And we're going to do that particular stitch 3 more times. So yarn over twice into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our second one of those stitches. 2 more. That's our third, and then 1 more. That's our fourth. So now what we're going to do is do a treble crochet into the next stitch, which is just yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll do a half treble into the next stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And then what we're going to do right at the very end is just chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch. Now from here what we're going to do is just do a slip stitch all the way round until we get to our very first double treble stitch. So you're just going to go into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then pull through the loop again. So into the stitch, pull through, and pull through. So go ahead, pause the video, slip stitch all the way round. I'll meet you back at this very point just here, so we're making sure that we are slip stitching into the right stitch. So pause the video and meet me back just at this section here. So I've just slip stitched my way all the way round. I am at these stitches here where we've just formed the head, and if you remember we did a chain 1, a half treble crochet, a treble crochet, and then these 4 stitches in the middle are our double trebles. So if we just look here at this is the top of the stitch which we're working our way round to. So you just want to slip stitch into the stitches until you get to that point. So this is the point just here. Once you get to that section, we're going to now form the ears, which is much easier than what it might look. So you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Just turn the work on its side slightly, or just pull that chain down, and then we're going to work into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to do a half treble crochet, which is a half double in the US. So it's yarn over, try not to pull too tight on the chain, insert the hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And then we're going to do a treble crochet into the next 3 stitches, which is a double crochet in the US. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first one. Here's our second. And then our third. So that's formed the ear, and what we're going to do is look at our stitches again. So this is our first double treble, our second double treble, and then the third double treble along, you're going to slip stitch into the top of there, and that just anchors down that first ear. And then we're going to repeat the same thing again. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So just to recap, we're going to be working into the second chain from the hook. We're going to do a half treble, and then 3 trebles into the next 3 chains, or 1 treble into the next 3 chains, should I say. So that's 1, 2, and then 3. So from here we're going to look at these stitches. So we've got our third double treble and our fourth double treble. So we're just going to slip stitch just here, just after that fourth double treble. And then we are going to chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of the next stitch. So from here we're actually going to tie off this yarn. So you want to yarn over and pull through, and just leave that loop on the hook for just a moment. You want to leave a nice long end, because we're going to be using that to sew the bunny ears down. And then you're going to snip off that yarn and pull it through. Okay, so now what you want to do is just thread up your yarn. So I've actually just sewn in that middle thread just there and snipped off my yarn, and I've also threaded up this loose piece here. I'm going to turn my work back to front, and you can see where this this has just been tied off just here. I'm actually just going to come underneath that and then work my way back up, and just pull that stitch down slightly, just so to make it look a little bit less obvious. But you actually want to work back up to the bunny ears just here, because what we're going to do is attach the ear to the head. So you're just going to come up to this section, and then you're going to catch one of the stitches with your needle of the ear and then of the head, and then just pull that through. And then just do it again. So catch the stitch of the ear, and then the, oops, make sure that you don't get that wrapped around there. The ear, pop it back through if that happens, and pull through. And then you can go on the other side, catch the top and the bottom, pull through, and then just once more catch the top and the bottom and pull through. And then what you can do is just sew that into the rest of the work. So just weave in that end. And then just snip off your yarn. And that is the bunny done. So you just want to straighten it out. You can block it if you wanted to. So that is the body of the bunny. All we have to do now is make the little bunny tail, which is super easy. So you want to grab your cream or white colour yarn. So what you want to do is create a slip knot, and when you're doing your slip knot I suggest that you leave a good tail on this bit as well, because we're going to be using that. So create your slip knot, and then you're going to start off by chaining 2. So you're going to grab the yarn, pull through, and grab the yarn, pull through. So we're going to be working into this very first chain, and what we're going to be doing is doing a treble crochet but not finishing them off. So we're actually going to be doing a bobble stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that first chain, grab the yarn, pull it through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, just 2 loops on the hook. And then you're going to do those stitches until you end up with 5 loops on the hook. So this is the first stitch, you go again for the second, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, only 2. The third, pull through, only 2, and then 1 more, and pull through, only 2. So you will end up with 5 loops on the hook. So if you don't want to count those 4 unfinished trebles, just count until you have 5 loops on the hook. Grab the yarn, pull through all of those loops on the hook, and then just give it a bit of a pull, and that kind of bunches the stitches together. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through, and that's going to tie it off. So drop your work, and again leave a long tail, and then just pull that out, and that is your bunny tail. So all that we need to do now is grab the body of our bunny. You're going to insert your hook, not in the centre, just out from the centre, so I would say in those spaces around the first round. Grab your end and pull it through. And then we're going to sort of twist this round so that it sits a bit neater. So think about where that's going to go into your bunny. Insert your hook again, grab and pull through. So super easy. Then all you have to do is just tie a knot. I'd say the first one not too tight, because you don't want your work to bunch up, but your second and third nice and tight. And then you want to just snip off the excess yarn, and there you have your little bunny. So as I say, you can either add a little bit of this to a bunting, so you could crochet a string or actually just sew it onto a string. You could use it as an applique for a particular project, or you could add it into a nice little Easter hamper. But that is the tutorial for the crochet bunnies. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to keep up to date with any of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!